The dust storm was getting worse. Jiho wiped his goggles with a dirty rag and squinted at the horizon. Something big had crashed out there. Really big. The sensors on his repair station were going crazy with readings he had never seen before. "Boss, you should not go out there," Hana said through his helmet radio. She was watching from the station control room. "The storm will kill you before you reach whatever that is." Jiho checked his oxygen tank. It was full enough. Something is alive out there. The heat signatures don't lie. If I don't help, it will die. Hana made a frustrated sound. "You always do this. Always picking up strays. Last month it was that injured pilot. Before that, the merchant with the broken leg. Now you want to walk into a sandstorm for something we can't even identify?" But Jiho was already climbing onto his sandbike. The engine roared to life, and he headed into the orange clouds of dust. Planet Dust's edge was not a friendly place. Most people only stopped here to refuel or make quick repairs. Nobody lived here by choice. Except Jiho. He had built his repair station 5 years ago, far from the core worlds where questions were asked and regulations were enforced. The crash site was 3 miles out. The wind tried to push him off his bike, but Jiho held on tight. Sand hit his visor like tiny bullets. Through the dust he saw it. A massive shape, bigger than his entire station. It was partially buried in a sand dune, still smoking from atmospheric entry. It was a dragon. A real, actual dragon. Jiho had heard stories about them. The Draken, they were called. Ancient beings who ruled whole sectors of space. They could breathe in vacuum, fly between stars using their own power, and were nearly impossible to kill. But this one was not moving much. Its scales were deep purple and black, each one as big as Jiho's chest. One wing was bent at a wrong angle. Burn marks covered its body. Jiho parked his bike and approached slowly. "Hello?" he called out. "Can you hear me?" The dragon's head lifted slightly. It was enormous, with horns that curved back like a crown. Its eyes were open, but they did not focus on Jiho. They stared straight ahead, seeing nothing. "You are blind," Jiho said quietly. He moved closer, hands raised to show he meant no harm. "I am Jiho. I run a repair station nearby. I want to help you." The dragon made a sound, deep and rumbling like thunder. Then words formed in Jiho's mind, not spoken, but felt. "Leave me, small one. I am dying. There is no help for one such as I." "You are not dying," Jiho said firmly. "You are injured. There is a difference. Can you move? Can you make it to my station?" The dragon was silent for a long moment. Then those unseeing eyes turned toward Jiho's voice. "I cannot see. My eyes were burned in battle 3 cycles ago. I have been flying blind, using only the stellar winds to guide me. I crashed because I could not see your planet's approach. Without sight, I am useless. Let me die with dignity." Jiho felt something twist in his chest. He had seen that look before, in the eyes of broken machines and injured creatures. The look of someone who had given up. "No," he said. "I did not walk 3 miles through a sandstorm to watch you die. Come with me. Let me try to help." It took 2 hours to guide the dragon back to the station. The creature was weak and could barely walk. Its blind eyes could not judge distances, so it stumbled over rocks and dunes. But Jiho talked the whole way, describing every step, every obstacle. The dragon followed his voice. Hana was waiting at the station entrance, her face pale. "That is a Draken war dragon," she whispered. "Do you know what kind of trouble this could bring?" "Right now it is just an injured being that needs help," Jiho replied. He helped the dragon into the main hangar, the only space big enough to hold it. "Get the medical scanner, and bring me the xenobiology database." The dragon collapsed on the hangar floor with a sound like falling metal. Its breathing was labored. Jiho could see the burn scars around its eyes now. They were old wounds, long healed, but the damage was permanent. "What is your name?" Jiho asked as he set up his equipment. "I am called Kalrath," the dragon replied in his mind. "I was once a fleet commander. Now I am nothing. You are Kalrath and you are in my hangar, and that makes you my patient," Jiho said. He began scanning the dragon's head, studying the burn damage. "Hana, pull up everything we have on Draken neural systems." Hana hesitated. "Jiho, we are mechanics, not doctors. We fix ships and machines, not living creatures." "A problem is a problem," Jiho said, staring at the scan results on his screen. "And every problem has a solution. Look at this. The dragon's eyes are gone, yes, but the neural pathways are still there. The brain is still processing visual information, it just is not receiving any input." He stood up and started pacing, his mind racing. This was like a broken sensor array on a ship. The computer was working fine, but the cameras were destroyed. So what did you do? You replaced the cameras, but you could not grow new eyes for a dragon. However, you could give it new input. What if we built a device to replace the eyes? Jiho said suddenly. Something that captures light and converts it into signals the brain can understand. Hana stared at him. You want to build artificial eyes for a dragon? That is insane. We do not have that kind of technology. We have sensor arrays from dozens of ships, Jiho argued. We have neural interface cables. We have processing units that can convert visual data into electromagnetic pulses. It is all here. We just need to put it together in the right way. Calrath's voice entered his mind again, softer now. Why would you do this for me? We are strangers. My kind has taken your planets before. We are not friends to humanity. Jiho looked at the massive dragon. Because you need help and I can maybe give it. That is reason enough. For the next 3 weeks, Jiho barely slept. He studied dragon neural patterns, learning how their brains processed information. Dragons saw in spectrums humans could not, sensing electromagnetic fields and radiation. Their brains worked faster than human minds, processing thousands of images per second. Jiho built the device piece by piece. He used camera sensors from a military scout ship, neural interface cables from a medical transport, and processing chips from a navigation computer. He shaped it into a visor that could fit over Calrath's scarred eyes. The device was not pretty. It was a mess of wires and metal, held together with fusion welds and hope. Hana helped despite her doubts. She calibrated the sensors while Jiho programmed the neural interface. This might not work, she said. Even if the device functions, his brain might reject the input. Or worse, it could damage his neural pathways. Then we will fix that too, Jiho said. On the 23rd day, the visor was ready. Jiho approached Calrath carefully. The dragon had been patient, barely moving from his spot in the hangar. They had talked often during the work. Calrath told stories of the stars, of battles fought in nebulas and worlds where crystals sang. Jiho told him about Earth, about growing up in Seoul before coming to the frontier. It is time, Jiho said. This might hurt at first. Your brain will need time to adjust to the input. Calrath lowered his head. I trust you, Jiho of Earth. Jiho fitted the visor onto the dragon's head. It locked into place with a soft click. Then he activated the neural interface. The device hummed to life, sensors glowing. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Calrath screamed. The sound was not in Jiho's ears, but in his mind, a psychic wave of shock and pain and overwhelming sensation. The dragon thrashed, his tail smashing into equipment. Jiho held onto the visor, keeping it in place. Stay with me, he shouted. Your brain is relearning. Give it time! Slowly, the thrashing stopped. Calrath went very still. His head turned, those ruined eyes now hidden behind the glowing visor. He looked at Jiho, really looked at him. I can see, Calrath whispered into Jiho's mind. I can see you, small one. I can see the stars through the roof. I can see everything. Then the great dragon did something Jiho never expected. Tears began to fall from beneath the visor. They were not water, but liquid silver, droplets of metallic fluid that steamed when they hit the floor. Calrath bowed his massive head until it touched the ground before Jiho's feet. You have given me back the universe, the dragon said. You have restored what I thought was lost forever. There is no greater gift. You are now bonded to me by the old laws, human. You are clan brother to the imperial family of the Draken. Before Jiho could ask what that meant, Calrath reached out with one claw. He plucked a single scale from his chest, a scale that glowed with inner light. He pressed it against Jiho's palm. The scale merged with his skin, leaving a luminescent mark. This is a bond of honor, Calrath said. It marks you as one of us. As long as this mark remains, you are under the protection of the Draken Empire. Hana watched from across the hangar, her face worried. Jiho, she said quietly, I think you just made either the best friend or the worst enemy in the galaxy. 3 days later, the sensors started screaming. 4 massive objects were dropping out of hyperspace. 4 warships, each one 3 miles long. They took up position around the planet, their weapons powered and hot. Hana ran to the control room, her face white with fear. Jiho, we have 4 Draken battlecruisers in orbit. They are targeting the station. We have 5 minutes before they are in firing range. Jiho looked down at the glowing mark on his hand, then at Calrath, who stood tall and strong with his new visor gleaming. Taeyang was having the worst day of his career. He worked traffic control for Dust's Edge station, which usually meant tracking the occasional cargo ship or refueling transport. Today he was staring at 4 massive warships that could destroy the entire planet without breaking a sweat. "Attention Dust's Edge station." A voice boomed through the communication system. It was deep and cold like ice grinding against stone. "This is Commander Velrith of the Draken Imperial Fleet. You are harboring a kidnapped member of the royal family. Surrender the human called Jiho immediately, or we will reduce your station to atoms." Taeyang's hands shook as he responded. "Commander, there must be a mistake. This is just a small repair station. We have done nothing wrong. Do not lie to us, human. We have tracked our father's signature to your location. The human Jiho has enslaved him using forbidden technology. We will take back what is ours." Taeyang looked at Hana, who had run to the control room. "What is she talking about? What did Jiho do?" "He helped a dragon see again," Hana said, her voice tight with worry. "He built a visor for Calrath. But it was not slavery. It was medicine. It was help. Try explaining that to 4 warships," Taeyang muttered. He opened the channel again. "Commander Velrith, please. Let us talk. Jiho meant no harm. He was only trying to help." Silence. Velrith's voice was sharp with anger. "We know the tricks of slavers. They use devices to control minds to make their victims believe they are willing. My father was a proud warrior. He would never bow to a human unless he was forced. You have 3 minutes to bring Jiho to us or we will come down and take him ourselves." In the hangar, Jiho was talking quickly with Calrath. "They think I enslaved you? Why would they think that?" Calrath's mental voice was troubled. "The visor. In our history, slavers once used similar devices to control captured Draken. The devices sent pain directly into our brains until we obeyed. The practice was banned 3,000 years ago, but the memory remains. My daughter Velrith sees the device on my head and assumes the worst." "Then take it off," Jiho said. "Show her it is not controlling you." "If I remove it, I will be blind again," Calrath said. "And she will not believe words alone. Velrith is a military commander. She trusts evidence, not explanations. She sees her father marked with a device, bowing to a human and carrying the bond mark of clan brotherhood. To her eyes, it looks exactly like enslavement." Hana burst into the hangar. "They are giving us 3 minutes. Then they attack. Jiho, you need to surrender. Maybe we can explain things peacefully. Or maybe they will kill me the moment I step outside," Jiho said. He was thinking fast, trying to see a way out. "Calrath, can you contact your daughter? Talk to her directly?" "I have been trying," Calrath said. "She has blocked my communications. She believes the device is forcing me to defend my captor. She will not listen." Taeyang's voice crackled over the station intercom. 2 minutes. They are charging weapons. Jiho, whatever you're going to do, do it fast." Jiho looked at the glowing mark on his palm. An idea formed, dangerous and desperate. "Calrath, you said this mark makes me clan brother. What exactly does that mean in your culture?" "It means you are family," Calrath explained. "It means you are under our protection but also our laws. It means you have responsibilities to the clan. And if I am family, do I have the right to speak to the fleet? To defend myself?" Calrath's eyes widened behind the visor. "By ancient law, yes. Clan brothers have the right to formal hearing before punishment. But Jiho Velrith is angry. She may not honor that right. We have to try," Jiho said. He ran to the communication room with Hana close behind. Taeyang opened a channel to the flagship. "Direct to Commander Velrith." Taeyang worked the controls with shaking hands. "Channel open. You are live." Jiho took a deep breath. "Commander Velrith, this is Jiho. I am the mechanic you are looking for. I claim the right of clan hearing under Draken law. I bear the bond mark of Calrath. As clan brother, I request formal judgment, not execution." There was a long silence. Then Velrith's voice came back sharp with surprise. "You know our laws, human? That is interesting. And dangerous, very well. You will be brought aboard my ship. If you refuse or if you try to escape, we will destroy the station and everyone in it. You have 1 minute to reach your airlock." The channel cut off. Hana grabbed Jiho's arm. "This is insane. You are walking into a warship full of dragons who think you are a slaver. They will kill you, maybe," Jiho admitted. "But if I do not go, they will definitely kill everyone here. At least this way I have a chance to explain." Calrath appeared at the doorway. His massive form barely fit through the corridor. "I am coming with you. This is my responsibility. I should have explained things to my daughter before she arrived. Can you fly? Jiho asked. With this visor I can do anything, Calrath said. There was pride in his mental voice. I can see the stars again, Jiho. I can navigate. I can fight if needed. You have made me whole. They walked to the airlock together. Hana followed, refusing to be left behind. If you are going to get yourself killed, I want to watch so I can say I told you so, she said, but her eyes were wet with worry. A shuttle descended from the lead warship. It was sleek and black, shaped like a blade. The airlock opened and 3 Draken warriors stepped out. They were smaller than Calrath, but still huge, each one nearly 12 feet tall in their armor. Their scales were deep red and their eyes glowed with inner fire. The lead warrior pointed at Jiho. You, come with us. No weapons, no tricks. Jiho stepped forward, hands raised. I am unarmed. I am just a mechanic. I want to talk to Commander Velrith. The warriors grabbed him roughly, their claws careful not to cut but firm enough to show he was a prisoner. Calrath stepped forward, spreading his wings. He is under my protection. You will treat him with respect. The warriors hesitated. One of them spoke carefully. Lord Calrath? Is that truly you? We thought you were dead. We thought this human had captured you. This human saved my life, Calrath said, his mental voice strong and clear. He gave me back my sight. He asked for nothing in return. He is no slaver. He is a healer. The commander will decide that, the warrior said, but his grip on Jiho loosened slightly. They loaded into the shuttle with Calrath barely fitting in the cargo bay. Hana climbed in too, ignoring the warrior's protests. Where he goes, I go, she said firmly.
He is my boss.
And my friend. The shuttle lifted off and docked with the massive flagship. The interior was beautiful and terrifying. The walls were organic, pulsing with life. Everything was scaled for beings much larger than humans. Jiho felt like a child in a giant's castle. They were brought to a massive chamber. At the far end, on a throne made of crystallized starlight, sat Commander Velrith. She was magnificent and terrible. Her scales were deep gold and her eyes burned with fury. 2 other dragons flanked her, advisors or guards. So this is the human, Velrith said. Her voice was not in Jiho's mind, but spoken aloud, a rumbling bass that shook the floor. This small thing claims to have helped my father. This creature that could be crushed with one claw. Jiho swallowed hard but met her gaze. Commander Velrith, I am Jiho. I am a mechanic from Earth. 3 weeks ago, your father crashed near my station. He was blind and injured. I built him a device to restore his sight. That is all. There was no slavery, no force, only help freely given. Lies, said one of the advisors, a scarred dragon with black scales. His name was Dane and his voice dripped with suspicion. Humans do not help without wanting something in return. What is your price, mechanic? What do you gain from putting a control device on a royal dragon? I gain nothing, Jiho said. I saw someone who needed help. I gave it. That is what I do. Velrith leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Show me this device. Explain how it works. If I sense any deception, you will die slowly. Calrath stepped forward, bowing his head to his daughter. Velrith, my child. Look at me. Do I seem enslaved? I am myself, free and whole. This device does not control me. It gives me sight. Watch, he removed the visor. Immediately his movements became uncertain. He turned his head left and right, those ruined eyes seeing nothing. Then he put the visor back on. His posture straightened. He looked directly at Velrith with confidence. The device is not a weapon, Calrath explained. It is a tool. It takes light and converts it into signals my brain can process. It replaces what I lost in battle. Jiho studied my neural patterns for weeks. He built this from salvaged parts. He asked for no payment. When I offered him the bond mark, he did not even understand what it meant. Velrith studied the visor carefully. Let me examine it. If it is as you say, it will be obvious. Calrath approached his daughter and lowered his head. Velrith's claws moved over the device with surprising gentleness. She traced the wires and studied the sensors. A third dragon, a female with silver scales, stepped forward. I am Mireille, cultural liaison. May I scan the device? Yes, Calrath said. Scan everything. You will find no control mechanisms, no pain inducers, only cameras and processors. Mireille ran a small device over the visor. She studied the readings, her expression shifting from suspicious to surprised. Commander, he speaks the truth. This device has no capability to control thoughts or inflict pain. The engineering bay was enormous. The reactor core sat in the center, a massive sphere of dark metal that pulsed with sickly light. The air around it shimmered with heat. Scorch marks covered the floor where previous engineers had fallen. A Draken engineer named Bowman approached them. His scales were pale blue and his eyes were tired. "Commander, this is madness. The core will kill him like it killed the others. We should shut down the ship and evacuate." "We cannot shut down," Velrith said coldly. "If this core fails completely, it will explode with enough force to destroy 3 solar systems. We must repair it or contain it. Those are the only choices." Jiho walked closer to the reactor, studying it carefully. He could feel the heat even from 30 feet away. The sphere was beautiful in a terrible way. Patterns of light moved across its surface like living things. "Tell me what happened. When did it start failing?" Bowman pulled up a holographic display. 6 months ago. The output became irregular. Then the safety systems began attacking anyone who approached. 3 engineers tried to fix it. The core burned them to ash before they could reach the control panel. Now it grows worse each day. "What kind of reactor is this?" Jiho asked. He had worked on fusion reactors, antimatter cores, even experimental quantum generators, but this looked different. "It is a singularity core," Bowman explained. "It contains a micro black hole. We feed it matter and it releases energy. The technology is ancient. Our ancestors built these ships 4,000 years ago. We know how to maintain them, but we do not fully understand them anymore." Jiho circled the reactor slowly, his mechanic's mind working. "You said the core started attacking people. That is interesting phrasing. Not the safety systems activated. You said it attacks. Why?" Bowman hesitated. "It sounds foolish. But the core seems angry. It feels wrong to approach it. Like it does not want us near." "Not foolish at all," Jiho said. He knelt down and touched the floor near the scorch marks. The metal was still warm. "In human cultures, we have a saying. Any sufficiently advanced machine becomes something more than just a machine. Your ancestors built these ships 4,000 years ago. How did they treat them?" Mirai, the cultural liaison, spoke up. She had followed them to the engineering bay. "Our ancient texts say the shipbuilders were different from us. They called ships their partners. They believed ships were alive in their own way. But we are modern now. We know ships are just machines, tools to be used. Maybe that is the problem," Jiho said quietly. He stood up and walked closer to the reactor. The heat was intense now, making his skin prickle. "Calrath, when I built your visor, I did not just assemble parts. I thought about what you needed. What would make you comfortable? I talked to the components while I worked, told them what I needed from them. Hana thought I was going crazy. Hana, standing at a safe distance, called out, 'I still think you are crazy. Step away from that thing before it kills you.' But Jiho kept walking forward. The air around the reactor started to shimmer more violently. The light patterns on its surface began to swirl faster, like a storm building. This core is not just failing. It is lonely. It is grieving. Your engineers died and it mourns them, but more than that, nobody talks to it anymore. Nobody treats it like a partner. Just a tool. A thing." Velrith's voice was sharp. "You are saying our reactor has feelings? That is impossible, is it?" Jiho turned to look at her. "You are telepathic. You speak mind to mind. Your ships are partially organic, grown as much as built. Why is it so impossible that they feel something? That they know when they are loved or neglected?" He turned back to the reactor and took another step. The heat was painful now. His skin felt like it was burning. The crew watched in horror, waiting for him to burst into flames like the others. But Jiho reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. The luminescent scale that Calrath had given him. The bond mark. "Calrath, I need your help," Jiho said. "This ship knew your ancestors. It remembers when dragons cared for their ships. Can you help me connect with it? Help me show it that we want to heal it, not just use it?" Calrath moved forward, his massive form approaching the reactor. He placed one claw gently on Jiho's shoulder. "Open your mind, clan brother. I will bridge the gap." Jiho felt something shift in his thoughts. Calrath's telepathic presence wrapped around his consciousness, amplifying it, extending it. Suddenly he could feel the reactor. Not see it or hear it, but feel it. It was vast and old and tired. It was in pain. And yes, it was grieving. "Hello," Jiho said softly, speaking both aloud and in his mind. "My name is Jiho. I'm a mechanic. I fix things that are broken. I am here to help you if you will let me." The reactor's light pattern slowed. The heat decreased slightly. Something was listening. You have lost people you cared about, Jiho continued, moving closer. The engineers who tended you. They died and you are alone. I understand. I lost people too. My family, my homeworld. But I learned that the best way to honor the dead is to keep living, to keep working, to help others. He reached out and placed his hand on the reactor's surface. It was hot, almost unbearable, but he did not pull away. The scale in his other hand began to glow brighter. I know you are scared. Scared of failing. Scared of hurting more people. Scared that nobody understands you anymore. But I am here now, and I understand. You are not just a machine. You are not just a tool. You are a part of this ship, a part of this crew, and you are important. The reactor's surface began to change under his hand. The dark metal shifted, flowing like liquid. Panels opened that nobody knew existed. Inside, Jiho could see the reactor's true core. It was beautiful. A tiny point of absolute darkness surrounded by fields of pure energy. But some of the field generators were misaligned. Others were corroded. The damage was subtle, the kind of thing that would not show up on scans. There you are, Jiho said gently. You have been hurting for so long. Let me fix this. Let me help you feel better. He pulled out his tools. Basic things, really. A calibration laser, a field adjuster, a molecular welder, nothing special. But he used them with love and care. He realigned the field generators one by one, talking to the reactor the whole time, explaining what he was doing, asking permission before each adjustment. This one here is pulling the containment field slightly off-center. That must hurt. Let me straighten it there, better. The reactor pulsed and Jiho felt something like agreement. And this generator has corrosion from 400 years of use. You have worked so hard for so long. Nobody can blame you for being tired. But we can clean this. Make it new again. Would you like that? Another pulse. The heat around Jiho began to decrease. The reactor was helping him, pulling back its defenses, letting him work. Bomin watched in shock. How is he doing that? The core should have killed him already. But it is cooperating. I have never seen anything like this. Mirai was recording everything with her scanner. He is not just repairing it. He is healing it. There is a difference. Jiho worked for 2 hours. His hands were burned from the heat. His body was exhausted, but he did not stop. He fixed each problem he found, always explaining, always asking. The reactor opened more and more of itself to him, showing him damage that had been hidden for centuries. Finally, he reached the core of the problem. One of the containment field generators was not just misaligned. It was cracked, slowly failing. When it broke completely, the micro-singularity would collapse and the explosion would be catastrophic. This is bad, Jiho said quietly. This piece is dying. I cannot fix it. It needs to be replaced. The reactor's energy pulsed sadly. It knew. But, Jiho continued, I can make a temporary repair. It will not last forever. Maybe a year, maybe 2. But it will give you time. Time to reach a proper repair dock. Time to get a new generator. Can you hold on that long? The answer came not in thoughts but in feeling. Determination. Will. The desire to live. Good, Jiho said. Then let us do this together. He used his molecular welder to fuse the crack in the generator. It was delicate work. One mistake would shatter the entire thing. But Jiho's hands were steady. Years of fixing broken machines had taught him patience. He welded molecule by molecule, building a bridge across the crack. The reactor helped. It adjusted its own power flow, taking strain off the damaged generator. It was working with Jiho, trusting him. Finally, the repair was complete. Jiho stepped back, exhausted. The generator held. The containment field stabilized. The reactor's light shifted from sickly yellow to healthy blue. The heat in the room became normal again. Bowman checked his instruments, his eyes wide. The core is stable. Power output is at 100%. All safety systems are normal. He did it. The human actually did it. Jiho swayed on his feet. Hana rushed forward to catch him before he fell. You idiot, she said, but she was smiling through tears. You beautiful, stupid idiot. Felrith approached slowly, her massive form towering over Jiho. She looked at the reactor, then at the human mechanic, then back at the reactor. Explain what happened. The core has not been this stable in months. What did you do? I listened, Jiho said simply. Your engineers were trying to force the reactor to work. But it was scared and hurting. So I talked to it. I asked permission. I showed it that I cared about its well-being, not just its function. The rest was just basic repair work. The council chamber was quieter this time. Velrith sat on her throne, but she looked different. Less angry, more thoughtful. Around her stood her officers. Dane, the scarred tactical specialist, still looked suspicious. But Mireille, the cultural liaison, watched Jiho with open curiosity. Bowman, the engineer, looked at him like he was some kind of miracle. Jiho's hands were bandaged now. A medical drone had treated his burns with some kind of gel that tingled and hurt and felt better all at the same time. Hana stood beside him, refusing to leave. Kalrath was there too, his visor gleaming in the chamber's light. "I have made inquiries," Velrith said. She spoke in her own language, but a translator device made her words clear to Jiho. "I contacted the Merchant Guild. They confirm your station has a reputation. You help anyone who needs it. You charge fair prices. You have never been accused of cheating or stealing. Your record is clean." "I just fix things," Jiho said. "That is all I have ever done. But why?" Dine demanded. "Why help my father? He was a stranger, an alien. You could have let him die and taken his body for parts. Draken scales are worth a fortune on the black market. But you did not. You spent weeks helping him. You asked for nothing in return." "This makes no sense," Jiho thought about how to explain. "On Earth we have many cultures, many beliefs. But one thing most of us share is the idea that you help people because it is right, not because you gain something. When I was young, my father was a mechanic too. He taught me that machines deserve respect. They work for us, so we should care for them, and people deserve help because they are people. That is reason enough." "Humans are strange," Bowman said, but he was smiling. "We Draken believe in honor, in duty and strength. But this idea, helping just because someone needs it, this is foreign to us." "Not foreign," Mireille said quietly. "Forgotten. Our ancient texts speak of the bond between dragon and ship, between creator and creation. We used to understand what Jiho is talking about, but over the centuries we have changed. We became conquerors, warriors. We forgot how to be builders, how to be partners with our creations." Velrith leaned forward. "What you did in the engineering bay proves your skill, but it also reveals a terrible truth. Our empire is vast. We have thousands of ships, and if what Mireille's scans suggest is true, many of them are suffering like my flagship's core. They are neglected, lonely, failing because we treat them as tools instead of partners." "How many reactors are failing?" Jiho asked. Bowman pulled up a holographic display. It showed a map of Draken space with thousands of stars marked. Many of them were colored red. 30% of our fleet has reported reactor instabilities in the last year. We have lost 12 ships to core failures. Hundreds of lives. We thought it was sabotage or age. But now I wonder if it is something else. If our ships are giving up because we no longer care for them properly." Dane slammed his claw on the floor. "This is ridiculous. Ships do not have feelings. They do not give up. There must be a technical explanation." "There is," Jiho said. "The technical explanation is that you have forgotten how your technology works. Your ancestors built ships that were partially alive, that responded to emotion and intention, but you treat them like dead metal. So they are dying." Velrith stood up pacing. Her tail swished with agitation. "If you are correct, then we face a crisis. Our military power depends on these ships. Without them, we are vulnerable. Our enemies will sense weakness. And more than that, we cannot let thousands die because of our negligence." She turned to face Jiho directly. "I have a proposal. Actually, it is more of a request. Help us. Teach our engineers what you know. Show them how to connect with the ships, how to heal them instead of just repairing them." Jiho was quiet for a moment. This was bigger than he expected. He was just a mechanic on a frontier station. Now he was being asked to help an entire empire. "I am one person." "You have thousands of ships. I cannot fix them all." "You do not need to fix them," Mireille said. "You need to teach. Show our engineers a new way of thinking, or maybe an old way that we forgot." "Bowman, how many engineers do we have in the fleet?" "Nearly 10,000, Bowman answered. "Then we bring Jiho to training centers," Mireille continued. "He demonstrates his methods. We record everything. We create new protocols based on what he teaches. It will take time, but it is possible." Hana spoke up for the first time. "And what about Jiho's station, his life? You are asking him to abandon everything to help you." "We would compensate him," Velrith said. "Money, resources, protection, whatever he needs." "I do not want payment," Jiho said. Everyone turned to look at him. But I have conditions. First, you must promise that this knowledge will be used to help, not to conquer. If I teach your engineers to connect with ships, I need your word that you will not use that knowledge to build weapons to hurt others. Velrith's eyes narrowed. You dare to make demands of the Draken Empire? Yes, Jiho said simply. Because if I help you become better at destruction, then I am part of that destruction. I fix things. I do not break them. If you cannot promise to use this knowledge for healing, not harming, then I cannot help you. Dane looked ready to attack, but Velrith raised a claw to stop him. You have courage, human. Foolish courage, but courage nonetheless. Very well. I give my word as commander and as daughter of Kalrath. The knowledge you share will be used to preserve life, not destroy it. We will heal our ships. We will save our crews, but we will not use your teachings to build new weapons. Second condition, Jiho continued. Any engineers I train must agree to come voluntarily. No forcing. No slavery. They learn because they want to, not because they are ordered to. Agreed, Velrith said. What else? Third, Hana comes with me. She is my assistant, my friend. Where I go, she goes. Hana looked surprised, then smiled. Idiot, she said fondly. And fourth, Jiho said, I need to go home sometimes. To my station. To check on things, to rest. I am willing to help, but I will not become a prisoner, even a comfortable one. Velrith thought for a long moment. Then she bowed her head slightly, a gesture of respect. Your conditions are acceptable. You will be given transport, a ship of your own, so you can travel between your station and our training facilities. You will be paid for your time, whether you want it or not, because we do not accept charity from those we respect, and you will have my personal protection. Anyone who harms you answers to me. She stepped down from her throne and approached Jiho. Up close she was even more massive, her golden scales gleaming. She extended one claw. Do we have an agreement, Jiho the mechanic? Jiho looked at the claw. It could crush him easily, but he reached out and grasped it firmly. We have an agreement, Commander Velrith. Kalrath's voice entered all their minds, warm with approval. My daughter, you have made the right choice. Jiho is now clan brother to our family. That makes him clan brother to you as well. Treat him as you would treat me. Velrith looked at her father, then at Jiho. The bond mark. I did not understand before. I thought it was a slave brand. But it is the opposite, is it not? It makes you family. It makes you our responsibility as much as we are yours. Yes, Kalrath said, and family helps family. That is the old way. The true way. Over the next few days, word spread through the Draken Empire. The human mechanic who healed a blind dragon, the alien who fixed an impossible reactor. Jiho became something between a curiosity and a legend. 4 more fleets arrived at Dust's Edge, not to attack but to request help. Their reactors were failing. Their ships were dying. Jiho met with each fleet's engineers. He explained his philosophy. Machines are not just tools. They are partners. They respond to respect and care. He showed them how to listen to their ships, how to feel the subtle changes in energy flow that indicated distress, how to ask permission before making repairs. Some engineers understood immediately. Others struggled with the concept. Bauman was one of the quick learners. He approached Jiho after a training session, his pale blue scales bright with excitement. I never realized, Bauman said. I have been an engineer for 40 years. I thought I understood ships, but I was only seeing the surface. You have shown me there is so much more. The core on my ship, I talked to it this morning. Really talked to it. And it answered, not in words but in feelings. It was lonely, just like you said. I apologized to it for years of neglect. I promised to do better. How did it respond? Jiho asked. It hummed, Bauman said, wonder in his voice. A sound I had never heard before. I think it was happiness. Hana watched the training sessions with interest. She took notes, recording everything. You know, she said to Jiho one evening, you are changing their entire culture. The Draken have been warriors for thousands of years. You are teaching them to be caretakers again. That is a big responsibility. I know, Jiho said. He was tired. Teaching was harder than repairing. But someone needs to do it. And I am here, so I might as well help. Mireille approached them carrying data pads. I have been studying our ancient texts, looking for references to the old ways, and I found something interesting. 4,000 years ago, when our ancestors built the first ships, they had a name for people like you, Jiho. They called them ship singers. individuals who could connect with vessels on a deep level. They were honored in our society. Shipsinger, Jiho repeated. I like that. It sounds better than mechanic. You are more. The message came through standard channels, but its content was anything but standard. 4 more Draken fleets were approaching, but these were not from friendly territories. They were from the outer sectors, regions where the Empire's control was weak and different dragon clans competed for power. Jiho sat in the communication room of his station, now equipped with Draken technology. Hana stood beside him, reading the reports. They are not coming to attack, she said. They are coming for help. Their reactors are failing too. But Jiho, these clans do not trust the Imperial family. They might not trust you either. Velrith's hologram appeared in the room. She looked tired. Jiho, we have a problem. The outer clans have heard about your work. They want your help, but they refuse to come to Imperial space. They fear a trap. They want you to come to them. That sounds like a trap, Hana said immediately. It might be, Velrith admitted. But their ships are dying. Their crews are in danger. If we refuse to help, thousands will die, and they will blame us. The Empire could fracture into civil war. Jiho thought for a moment. What do you think I should do? I think, Velrith said carefully, that you should decide for yourself. You are not my subject. You are my clan brother. Your choice must be your own. Kalrath's voice entered Jiho's mind. The old dragon was resting in the hangar. She is right, my friend. This decision is yours. But I will say this, you have started something important. The healing of ships, the reconnection of dragon and vessel. If you stop now, the movement dies. But if you continue, if you show the outer clans the same compassion you showed me, then peace becomes possible. Jiho looked at Hana. What do you think? I think you are going to say yes no matter what I say, Hana replied. So I am coming with you. Someone needs to keep you from getting killed. A day later, Jiho stood in the command center of his station, surrounded by representatives from across human-controlled space. Yunho, a community leader from the nearest colony world, had called an emergency meeting. Other human leaders appeared via hologram. Let me understand this, Yunho said, his weathered face serious. You want to go to the outer sectors of Draken space to help dragon clans that have historically raided human colonies to fix their warships. And you want our blessing? I want your input, Jiho said. This affects more than just me. If I help the dragons, it changes the balance of power in the galaxy. If I refuse, people die and wars might start. I need to know what my own people think. A woman named Jiwan spoke up. She was a medical officer from a nearby station. The dragons conquered 17 human colonies in the last century. They have enslaved thousands of our people. Why should we help them? Because, Jiho said quietly, if we choose revenge over compassion, we become like the worst of them. And because many of those colonies have been freed. The Draken Empire has been changing. Slowly, yes, but changing. If we help them, we can push that change forward. Another voice joined the conversation. It was an older man, a historian named Seokjin. I have studied the Draken for 40 years. They respect strength, but they also respect honor. If we help them when they are vulnerable, they will remember. It could be the beginning of real peace. Yunho leaned back in his chair. Or it could be the beginning of them using us. Using our kindness as weakness, that is a risk, Jiho admitted. But doing nothing is also a risk. Their empire is fracturing. If it falls into civil war, the fighting will spill over into human space. We will be caught in the middle. But if we help stabilize them, if we show them a better way, maybe we can avoid that. The debate went on for hours. Some argued for helping, others for staying out of it. Finally, Yunho called for a vote. It was close, but the decision was made. Jiho would go, but with conditions. Human observers would go with him. His actions would be monitored. And if the dragons tried to exploit his help, the human worlds would respond. Jiwan approached Jiho after the meeting. I am coming with you, she said. You will need medical support. And I want to see this for myself. I want to see if dragons can really change. 3 days later, Jiho, Hana, and Jiwan departed on a small Draken courier ship. Bauman was piloting and Kalrath accompanied them. The journey to the outer sectors took a week. During that time, Jiho prepared himself. He studied the clan structures of the outer dragons. He learned their customs and their grievances. The first clan they encountered was led by a dragon named Hyerim. She was smaller than Velrith, but no less impressive. Her scales were deep green, and her eyes were sharp with intelligence. She met them on her flagship, a massive vessel that looked ancient and powerful. "So you are the human who heals ships," Hiram said. Her voice was skeptical. "Velrith speaks highly of you. But Velrith serves the Emperor. We do not. Why should we trust you?" "You should not," Jiho said honestly. "You do not know me. I do not know you. But your ships are dying. I can help with that. After I help, you can decide whether to trust me." Hiram studied him for a long moment. "Fair words. Show me what you can do. My flagship's reactor has been unstable for months. If you can fix it, we will talk. If you fail, you leave immediately." The reactor was in worse condition than Velrith's had been. It was not just lonely. It was angry. Years of being pushed too hard, maintained poorly, and treated as nothing more than a power source had made it hostile. When Jiho approached, the reactor lashed out with a burst of heat that nearly killed him. "It does not want your help," Hiram said. "It has been hurt too many times by engineers who did not care. Why should it trust you?" Jiho sat down on the floor, just out of range of the reactor's heat. He closed his eyes and reached out with his mind, using the techniques Kalrath had taught him. "I understand," he said softly. "You have been hurt, used, neglected. You have every right to be angry." The reactor pulsed, its anger washing over him, but Jiho did not pull back. He let the reactor feel his presence, his intentions, his genuine desire to help. "I am not like the others," Jiho continued. "I do not see you as a tool. I see you as a being, a partner. You have kept this ship running despite being hurt. You have saved countless lives. You are a hero and nobody has thanked you, so I am thanking you now." The reactor's anger began to fade, replaced by confusion. Nobody had ever spoken to it like this before. "I know you are tired," Jiho said. "I know you want to rest. But if you fail, this ship dies. The crew dies, and you will die knowing you failed them. That is not how a hero's story should end. Let me help you. Let me fix what is broken. Then you can rest easy knowing you did everything right." Slowly, the heat decreased. The reactor's defenses lowered. Jiho stood up and approached carefully. He placed his hand on its surface, and this time it did not burn him. Instead, he felt sadness, loneliness, the desperate desire to be valued. "I see you," Jiho whispered. "And you are magnificent." The repair took 6 hours. The damage was extensive but not irreparable. Jiho worked with patience and care, talking to the reactor the entire time. He explained each action. He apologized for the past neglect. He promised that things would be better. When he finished, the reactor was humming, a deep, resonant sound that filled the engineering bay. It was the sound of contentment, of relief, of hope. Hiram watched in silence. When Jiho was done, she approached him. "I have never seen anything like that. Our best engineers could not even get close to the core. But you made it trust you. How?" "I listened," Jiho said simply. "And I cared." Hiram bowed her head, a gesture of deep respect among dragons. "You are what Velrith said you are. A ship singer, a healer. My clan will accept your teachings, and we will remember this day." Word spread quickly through the outer sectors. The human who spoke to ships, the mechanic who healed angry reactors. More clans came, asking for help. Some were skeptical. Others were desperate. But Jiho treated them all the same. With patience, with respect, with compassion. Jiwon watched it all, documenting everything. "You are changing them," she said to Jiho one evening. "These dragons, they have been warriors for so long, but you are showing them another way. A way of caring, of healing. It is remarkable. It is necessary," Jiho said. "War is easy. Hatred is easy. But building something better, that takes work. That takes courage." Months passed. Jiho traveled from clan to clan, teaching engineers, healing ships. Hana helped him organize training programs. Jiwon treated injured crew members and built relationships between humans and dragons. Bowman became his assistant, learning everything Jiho could teach. The order of ship singers grew. It was not just Jiho anymore. Dozens of engineers, both dragon and human, joined. They learned to listen to ships, to treat machines as partners. The philosophy spread like a gentle wave across the empire. One day, Jiho received a message from Velrith. "Come home," she said. "There is something you need to see." He returned to Imperial space and found something unexpected. A new station, massive and beautiful, floating in orbit around a neutral world. It was built in a style that combined human and dragon architecture. a place where both species could work together. Velrith met him at the docking bay. "This is the Academy of Ship Singers," she said, "built with resources from both the Empire and human colonies. A place where we can train the next generation."